B2C or anything else, B2G, there's a bunch of these out there. How do you sell, and does it matter to whom and why you're selling?
See, my contention, Dan, is that I think these distinctions of B2C and B2B, and as you suggested, B2B consulting when people pay me money. I am a intrepid business strategist, marketing strategist, runner, and all the same stuff we talk about every time.
Every video I say this, but intrepid, just bold, right? In case you're brand new to the show.
Resolute.
Yeah, resolute. It's like a ship name. Resolute. A good ship, Resolute.
The HMS Resolute or something like that.
Anyways, we've got a great topic for you today. We're talking about a really important subject, unlike ships. The topic for today is the whole idea of selling online, and you brought this up. B2B versus B2C or anything else, B2G, there's a bunch of these out there. How do you sell, and does it matter to whom and why you're selling?
See, my contention, Dan, is that I think these distinctions of B2C and B2B, and as you suggested, B2G, which is very real, I think it's all crap.
It's all crap.
Because at the end of the day, I think it's P2P, people to people, right? At the end of the day, the end user, the end buyer is a human being.
Okay.
And I think what happens is, what really frustrates me, and I've written about this, is that you suggest an idea to someone and they say, oh, no, see, I understand that that's really meant for B2C.
Right.
When the tool, I'm talking about very basic things like Twitter and Facebook and social tools that are very prevalent. There are businesses who will refuse to invest energy in utilizing them as a means of connecting with human beings because they say this doesn't work for B2B. Because there's these walls and these barriers that people say, well, there's a certain way I have to do it.
So what are you frustrated about? You're frustrated by bad business leaders, or are you frustrated by this whole idea that social is only for, like, I'm guessing you're saying it's only for B2C, right?
There's a lot of people who contend that say, oh, social is great for B2C. And there's no doubt that it is. But I'm going to tell you that I spend my career helping organizations use social for B2B sales.
Sure.
Now, that's a bigger leap for a lot of them.
Okay.
Especially the market that I serve are more industrial, more manufacturing, or generally more old school. But my contention is I think that just these labels cause the problems because I think people say, that's a B2C thing.
And you're all wound up, I can tell. You're all wound up.
I'm always wound up.
Ring like time out, okay, because I got you. We've got 3 minutes on the clock. As you know, if you watch the show, we got 8 minutes to discuss things. So when Todd gets all wound up, our time goes quickly, right? But I think you bring up a good point, which is some people think social is just for a certain strike. If I'm selling to the government, then social, it can't help me. It can't help me. It's only for if I'm selling to consumers who happen to be on Facebook all day. It's kind of these stereotypes of, like, all women must be pregnant and barefoot in the kitchen or something like this. It's kind of a little bit of silliness, as I think you're saying. So what's the differences then between selling as a business to a business or selling as a business to a consumer? Is there a difference? Are you saying there's not a difference?
I'm saying there's not a difference.
There's not a difference.
Because it's a person selling to a person. So okay. Now look, there are going to be a lot of you out there going to say, oh, wait a minute, selling laundry detergent to a homemaker is different than selling a complex industrial conveyor system. Sure, I get it. It's a different kind of sales cycle, different process, different sales cycle. But at the end of the day, Dan, it's a human being selling to a human being. And I think these labels.
Okay, so you're mad at labels. You said labels 9 times. I'm not going to buy you a label maker for Christmas.
Thank you.
No label makers.
I think they confuse people. And they shut out opportunities because they're just.
But aren't there real differences between a business advertising their services? Aren't they using social media differently? I mean, I kind of disagree with you. I mean, sure, I've said before many times that there are no business problems, only people problems. So we're aligned on a lot of that. But don't businesses, a big business, they're not trying to sell to another business. Aren't they just trying to advertise? Or how are they trying to use social media differently?
You're not going to use Twitter to sell a $25,000 engineering process for a conveyor system. but you can use it as a way to educate. You can use it as a way to resolve differences, overcome challenges, build a relationship, build a rapport, build trust. No, you're not going to click the link on Twitter and buy $50,000 worth of parts. You're just not going to do that.
Yeah.
But I'm not. Well, I'm not either. My point is that what has
don't say labels.
Well, then we'll go on to the next
move on to the next subject. So
we've talked about before on this show. I hope our SMT family will link up to that broadcast where we talked about social media and B2B.
B2B selling. Now there are some best practices, and I always laugh when people say that because really it's probably better practices, not really best, because who decides all that what is best?
Good point.
But it is important to remember that no matter what you're doing, whether you're selling, as you say, a conveyor system with $50,000 worth of parts, or whether you're selling detergent to making a detergent purchase really fun for a homeowner, that it is a person that's going to be receiving that messaging. And that person's going to interpret what you say and how you deliver the message. So I think
there's a difference between walking down an aisle in a grocery store and seeing 1,000 opportunities for different laundry detergents to buy, versus a complex B2B sale where there's a lot of decision makers in that decision chain in terms of financing and shipping and all that, and all the supply chain and all that kind of thing. Human beings involved in all that.
What's the big takeaway from this? The big takeaway that remember the person? I mean, you always end the show and say, remember, treat people like human beings. Is that the takeaway? I mean, what's the takeaway from this?
I think the takeaway from me, if you think about one thing as a result of listening to this rant, is don't let, and I'm sorry to use the word, but don't let these labels of B2B and B2C and B2G and all these things confuse you and prevent you from not exploring and investing time learning potentially how social tools, for instance, can help you better build relationships with your potential target market. I think there are great educational opportunities there. I think people are just passing them up because either they're lazy and using this, it's a B2C thing, so I'm not going to worry about it, and that's how they're deflecting and rationalizing their unwillingness to do the hard work and figuring it out. Or they're just confused by it.
Let me jump in. What I hear you saying is some experts might tell big companies this is just for consumers. This is not for selling to businesses. So you might be thinking if you're a leader of your business.
An old school sales consultant is going to say, social media is for B2C.
It's for B2C. But what you're saying is no, it's for people. And so if you're selling to people, which I don't know, many of us selling to robots, right? So then you should probably get involved in it. So think with your own mind, right? And then smart companies have always found creative uses for tools. We're not saying to use Twitter like everybody else does. I'm saying to use Facebook like everybody else does. What we're saying is they're tools. That's all they are. They're just tools. Be smart about how you use them. Be creative. So another company says we can't work with it. Well, maybe you can. Maybe you can find a way to generate some solid business just by thinking for yourself.
Yep. You can craft a social media tool to serve your purposes and enable you to do the things that you want to do. Figure that out. You don't have to follow the herd and do what everybody else is doing. You can devise a strategy with each of these tools that serves your purpose.
Ding ding.
Yep.
Time.
All right.
Take us away.
Well, that wraps this episode of Sales Chaos. On behalf of Dan Waldschmidt, I'm Todd Schnick. Treat your customers like freaking human beings. We'll see you next time.